empowering you to live a life fully charged. This is 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life with L.J. Tucker.
Welcome back to another episode of 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life. I am your host, L.J. Tucker. You know me by now. You know my face. You know the smile. I am here, and I'm a living reminder that you're one step, one spark away from a new life and your destination. Today's message is simple, but powerful enough to shift your entire future because you're one decision away from a new life. Let's dive right into it. I learned when I used to do sprinklers, and sometimes in order to figure a problem out, you have to do what we call reverse engineering. And when you reverse engineer something, it's easier to dissect the problem. Because a sprinkler system is simple. If it's inside of a box, you'd be like, okay, we got this pipe going to that pipe, this pipe going to this pipe, and they connect together. And then we got the wires right here in the middle to what we call the valves. And the valve goes to the timer. Well, when something happens within that little box, you have to figure out what the problem is. So we learn to reverse engineering. And it may seem simple because it's inside of a box, but when you're in a sprinkler system in a yard of 3,000 square feet, then that simpleness is not there. It becomes complex because you're trying to find a broken wire or a broken pipe that's causing your sprinkler system not to work properly. So let's just jump right into the bigger version of a 10,000 square foot property, which has a lot of pipes and wires. How do you find a problem? And I like to thank my man John Rose for the solution. He said we have to reverse engineer it. Because anytime I ran into a problem and I couldn't figure it out, he said, did you try reverse engineering? I said, man, this is a big property. You're going to have to help me out on this one. And so after a few times of helping me out, watching what he did, starting at the end so you can get to the beginning, I can reverse engineering using that methodology to find a problem in the system. Because most problems are simple, whether there's a root growing into a pipe or just somebody cut a wire somewhere. By reverse engineering how you work a sprinkler system from the end back to the front, working your way back to the timer, it becomes very, very simple. And so this is what we have to do with our life. That's why we're one decision away from having a new life, is because in the Bible, God says this simple thing: in the end, we win. So let's just take winning at whatever we're doing, or we're playing a sport, or just this thing in life. We're holding that trophy, or we're at the pinnacle of where we want to be at. Well, you have to envision yourself at the end. And once you envision yourself and you can see yourself with the prize in your hand, then it's easy to reverse engineering from that point, that simple place where you're at, where you hold that picture of you holding that championship, or you holding the keys to that new car, or the keys to that house, or that diploma that you seek. And once you can see it, now let's work backwards. How do I get there? And that's quite simple too. I'm glad you asked. It's called you never give up. You focus, you lock in on your target, which is maybe a diploma or certificate or whatever goal that you set. Once you lock in it, now you can reverse engineer it, because you know you're going to win because you already envisioned it. You have the vision, you have the title. And so now understanding, now you just put yourself in a fixed fight. And by it being fixed, you know that you're going to reach your goal. So the noise doesn't matter. The speed bumps along the way, the obstacles, the bad relationships, any simple thing that can keep you off course. Remember, now we done reverse engineered it. So now we're able to hold focus. Hey, I'm almost there. I've already seen it. I've tasted it at the tip of my tongue. So why would I give up now? People overthink things. They think everything needs money. It needs somebody else's approval, or I'm not good enough, or do I really deserve what I'm seeking? And all you have to do is decide that I am. And we've already showed you in the beginning by holding that picture, holding the vision of the keys for the new car or the new house. And if you make the decision that I am, I can, I will reach my final destination. You just simplified life. You just simplified your next step in life. You just became of a creator. You left fear in the rearview mirror, and you're moving forward to the life that you want from yourself, the life that you deserve for yourself, the life that God promised you. And that's by simply having that act of faith and making a decision saying that I am and I can. Your new start or new life doesn't begin with action. It begins with a decision that your mind is made up, and there's nothing that I can't do, and there's nothing that I can't accomplish. And once you embrace that mindset, you just stepped out the realm of wanting, needing, and being a true creator, a master, what they call in the Legos, a master builder of your life. And once you become that master builder, you're in full control. No one controls your life but you. As long as you give other people the keys to the house, or the password to your computer, or the password to your house, or to your mind, they're in control of your life. See, some people will think by putting fear in you or saying that you're not good enough, or you think, who do you think you are? You're not from that side of the tracks. I've literally been told that by a family member growing up. They said, man, we was growing on the wrong side of the track. There's no way you're going to ever be able to accomplish these things what you're talking about. And a part of me wanted to believe what they were saying because I trusted and valued their opinion. But when I woke up and realized what God told me, his word, that I can be all things through him because he strengthens me, and I applied these principles that I'm saying to you right now, a new life began for me. Author, certified arborist, husband, father, community leader, all these things that are attached. I'm not really into titles. Some people are. I'm not a title person. I'm more into accomplishments. This is a short-term accomplishment for me in order to get to the next reverse engineer vision of what I see in the things that I want to accomplish in life. Because if you're not accomplishing anything, what are you doing in life? Are you wasting your time? How do you do everything that God wants you to do here with your limited time here on earth? Because this time here on earth for us is just a vapor. And so we get a chance to rest and sleep when we're tired. What are we doing when we're not resting and we're not sleeping, or we're not stuffing our face full of food or something? What are we doing in between those lines? Are we being that creator? Are we living our best life? Are we creating the best life that we want to live? You're one decision away from a new life. So you can decide today, you can decide tomorrow, you can decide in the next few minutes, hey, am I happy where I'm at? Am I going to be complacent where I'm at? Am I going to just settle where I'm at and just, hey, listen, we're not going to, the movie Cruise. The thing I like about that movie the most is everything new and different. The family ran and hid all the time until this new guy came along and wanted them to explore, and their dad didn't like him because he liked his daughter. And let's skip to the end of the movie. They followed the directions of this young man, and they began to live a different life outside of fear. And once they started living a different life outside of fear, the abundance came from them. The new opportunities came for them. They forged a new future. And it's hard to forge a new future with the same thoughts, the same mindset. And so we navigate our way through that noise because there's so much noise. You have life itself. Life is gonna life. You have the noise around of us. We have the things that we're attracted to, whether it's sports, social media, events that we do in life. And there's so much fear that's driven behind some of that stuff. Every major shift in my life came down to one moment. 7,000 volts, becoming an arborist, being incarcerated. It came down to making a decision, living an abundant life. It came down to decisions. Every not so good things that happened in my life, it came to decisions. I decided that I was going to break the law. I decided that I'm going to listen to certain music because it made the body feel good, but it also corrupt my way of thinking and the way I was raised. And so I had to reverse engineer my life. Because once you reverse engineer your life, good, bad, or indifferent, you get what you put energy into. You get the results of what you decide that you want to create for your life. So if you want to create a life of crime, oh, I want to be like this gang member or this guy I look up to in the community, who cares? He's been locked up by 8 or 9 times. I want to be in the streets like him. I want to have a big name in the streets like him. So I'm going to hang out with him. Well, once I made those type of decisions, I was getting those type of rewards. And that was a life of incarceration. That was a fast track life to be in the early grave, or a life to be in and out of the system into either early grave or a lengthy enough prison sentence that either or I wouldn't be living a productive life the way that I am now. And those was all based on decisions. Because when I sit back and I relax and I see when I lived a life that wasn't productive in my eyes of what I projected when I was a little kid of what I wanted to be and how I wanted to be, I was so far off track and off course of where I wanted to be, it didn't line up. And so I had to meditate. I had to figure out, how did I get there? How do I move forward? And so every year I learned something different. So when I started learning reverse engineering, for me, that was a game changer. Because when you reverse engineer something, that means you're more conscious. You're in the now. You can pinch yourself. Hey, this is life. This is real. I can pinch myself and come back to reality. How do I get an A in school? How do I get to a pinnacle of my life where I want to be, where I can look in the mirror and be proud? Well, you got to first see that end result. You have to visualize it. And once you can visualize it, maybe you can take a picture of something that you want and hang it on your wall. Some people call that goal setting. And once you do that, now you get to hold yourself accountable after you make that decision to live a new life, to live a different life than the one that you may be living now, or to live a better life. You may be on the edge and fluctuating up and down like waves, moving one direction. And you're like, man, how do I take the top off this thing and go to another level? Reverse engineer whatever it is that you're trying to do or accomplish. And once you do it, you're changing the game. You're changing the path of your future. I forget what show, the NCIS. I love watching NCIS. NCIS LA, they have the fancy computers when it's like, hey, this is the thing we want to do. We're going to move this over here, and then we're going to bring this back, and we can see the clear picture. And then if you don't like the picture, we're going to zoom that out of the way here. We're going to take it and script it back here, and here's the focus. This is the guy that we're looking for right here. This is the guy that we want to be. And once you can focus on that, you get to reset every day and focus on the reverse engineered portion self of yourself. You get it? We get to stay focused. So how do we stay focused? Well, the noise, we have to get rid of the noise. We have to cut people out. We just take them off the screen. When people show up on the screen that doesn't belong and they're not adding to your life, you get to just, we're gonna swipe them. Swipe or no swiping. Sometimes you have to get comical about it. When you see somebody show up, ladies, guy, he may look the part, but then he says something that's familiar, you be like, swipe or no swiping. And that's how we stay grounded. Because if something comes, an opportunity seems like it comes along, but it's not matching up. It doesn't fit in the frame. Swipe or no swiping. And then you stay focused. And that's my nugget for that. Because I'm living proof. I'm doing it every day. I'm very successful. Has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with this beautiful smile. It has everything to do with years ago I made a decision and I haven't turned back yet. So I'm going to leave you with this. When you think from the end, your confidence changes, your decision changes, your habits change, your environment changes, your energy changes, your circle changes. Suddenly, the things that used to distract you don't even matter anymore. Why? Because you see the end. You can't unsee it. You stop entertaining small thoughts. You stop losing time. You stop second guessing your purpose. You're already mentally arrived. You're just walking the path to catch up with the version of you that already exists in the future. You don't need a miracle, my friends. You don't need permission. You don't need the perfect conditions. All you need is a decision to choose life calling out to you, a decision to think from the end, a decision to reverse engineer your destiny, a decision to step into the person you're designed to be. You're one decision away from a new life. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Decide and walk into your future and stay electrified. This is LJ Tucker reminding you to stay grounded. I would love to get the opportunity to meet you this weekend at my book signing here in Oldsmar at the Oldsmar Library on December the 6th from 11 to 3, I believe. I would love to sign your book and just get the opportunity to meet you. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your encouragement that allows me to see that my work is not in vain. I would love the opportunity to meet you on December the 6th. Until then, stay electrified and live an electrified life. Peace.
This has been 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life, available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. For more information, visit us on the web at ljtucker.com. Remember, stay electrified.